Clear prop.
Thank you.
So, hi folks, this is Sky Bear, and this is the very first time I'm ever going to try and do a commentary over a video, so apologies if it's not particularly good. The reason for the commentary is that we were in a bit of a rush to get flying when I did this flight to Le Touquet. The previous flight had been delayed, and so we had a bit of a time slot to meet, and we were in a bit of a rush, so I didn't have a chance to set out my audio recording gear. But anyway, this is a flight experience that my parents paid for me to go on from Lydd Airport to Le Touquet in France. It was part of a birthday present, and it was great fun. Here we are, just taxiing out of Lydd along the taxiways, heading towards the runway. The reason for this flight, yes, as I said, was really to get an experience with a qualified instructor. This is the instructor that I had for the day. His name was Mehran. I hope I pronounced that right. And to get experience with a qualified instructor to go across the channel and land abroad, and all the ins and outs of what's required there. So here we are now on the runway at Lydd, just applied full power and on the takeoff run, heading out to France. It was a beautiful day. We were very lucky actually, it was in October, and for weeks and weeks beforehand the weather had been pretty bad, and I really didn't think we were going to get a chance to do this flight, but on the day it really was fantastic, so enjoy the show. So here we are taking off from Lydd. It's a very short distance from the airport to the coast at Lydd, so you'll see that in a second coming up. There's Dungeness Power Station, just appeared for a second in the distance there. There you go, straight on the nose. You can just see the buildings of the power station. So I wasn't used to this aeroplane. This was a club aeroplane from Lydd Aero Club, but it was essentially a PA-28, a Piper Cherokee. I think it was a Piper Warrior actually, this one. So very similar to Kilo X-Ray that I'm used to flying. But there was some subtle differences on the inside. The radios were quite different, and some of the other controls were slightly different, or rather some of the other displays were slightly different. So here we are, we've already coasted out, and we're now over the channel. It's a little bit hazy, but good visibility overall. Lovely reflection of the sunshine on the sea there. You can't see her actually, but Hannah was in the back as well. She's just behind Mehran. So the two of us went over for the day. Lovely reflection of the sun on the sea. A little bit worried when we came across a fairly thick bank of cloud, but it was very short-lived. So we were okay to fly over it and then resume our flight in visual contact with the sea shortly afterwards. As you can see, it's gone. There's just a ship there down in the bottom right hand corner. So France already in sight, just on the horizon, and we're already starting our planning our approach into Le Touquet. It was a direct approach this time, so straight from the sea, pretty much straight onto the runway. There was very little in the form of circuit work. So here we've just turned down south, and we're going along the French coastline until air traffic instruct us to turn into final for the runway at Le Touquet. Really was a beautiful day. As you can see, lovely beach as well at Le Touquet. The aerodrome is just to the right of the river that you saw ahead of us there. Just talking me through the final bits and bobs before we make our approach into Le Touquet. I love the patterns that the waves make on the right there as they're breaking on the sandy beach. So Le Touquet is the town that you can just see off to the right, and we're actually going to go there in a minute, but the airport is a little bit further inland. There's the runway. Threshold just coming into view now, you can see it there. A little bit concerned, lots of concentration, because of course I've not landed this particular aeroplane before, so properly focused. Not too bad. Old undercarriage was a bit creaky there. Clunk, 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 shudder, shudder. But we got the job done okay. So just about to turn off the runway and taxi into Le Touquet terminal. Mehran just opening the door there a little bit because it was pretty warm that day. Just the end of summer. And so just trying to get a bit of air in. There's the terminal at Le Touquet with the control tower, and then just taxiing in now to park up. So it's great, when we landed at Le Touquet we were able to rent some bicycles, and Mehran took us into the town itself, so we rided into the town on these bikes. And went down to the beach and had a look around, had a look at some shops, etc. And then had a very nice lunch in a cafe, or a restaurant rather, on the beach. So you'll see all that happening in a minute. I've got some still images of it, of what we did in Le Touquet itself. So now we're just parked up and shutting down the aircraft, basically, ready to go for a little adventure in town. We obviously did fly back that day, but I haven't added that flight because it's essentially the same thing. Lots and lots of sea with lots and lots of sun reflections on it. So there we go, there's us cycling into town, parking up the bikes, and then walking the rest of the way. Some nice traditional French houses there. A nice street in the town itself. Still wearing my aviation cap there. Forgot to take it off. Couple of shops, some pancakes, yummy things to eat, and then down onto the beach. Of course, can't be France without something relating to the Eiffel Tower. And then Hannah enjoying some mussels. Mehran had a burger, and I had a burger too, although it was interesting because it was basically sunk into cheese. So after all that, we rode back to the airport and then flew back. And of course, I can't finish without having a picture of the aeroplane that we flew in, Yankee Whiskey.